Journey here, That Journey Chick on Instagram. Hey, I forgot to mention, I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. Thank you guys for following me over on Instagram. And I'm over on Twitch too as Crafting Journey, all one word. When I do my broadcasts live, I simulcast broadcasting both on Twitch and YouTube. So you can listen to me on either platform and chat with me on either platform. Today, the like button, don't forget to hit the like button today. I'm going to make him stand in that long COVID hallway waiting for the test while I wait for the car. Oh no! Yes, you will, because I don't want to stand in that long line. Boy, this thing, yesterday's debate went on all day. They responded finally. They said, well, you know, there's a policy that says you have to go get tested. I said, well, it's not happening. I'm not going to get tested today. Well, we can send you to the ER. I'm not going to the ER. I said, listen, my sister, same thing happened to Jean. Oh my gosh, poor Jean. She gets up, you know, noon, 1 o'clock. I don't know what time it was. I think it was 1 o'clock by the time she got out of here. She leaves to go get testing, and by the time she finds the place, because they told her to go to the old Wichita Mall. Now, she and I are from Florida. I don't know where the new Wichita Mall is, much less the old Wichita Mall. So I didn't know where to tell her to go. So she tries to find it. By the time she finds the place, and she figures out where to go, and they're like, oh, we've given away all the appointments for the day. So today, she is already up, out of the house, and on her way to get a test, because I think they opened at 7, and they told her to, you know, go be one of the first in line, then she could wait in her car. That's nice. If I could have waited in my car, I would still be there, because I can mess around on my phone for hours, you know, doing my YouTube stuff. And this is my work notebook. I don't need that. This is my crochet. I was crocheting last night. I was in a horrible mood yesterday, just awful. So then these people, back to my saga, there's like, we're going to report this to your boss. I'm like, I've already told my boss. My manager already knows what happened. I am not going to expose myself. I said, if my symptoms get worse, all I had, remember, was a headache. If my symptoms get worse or my sister tests positive, I'll be happy to come down and get a test. This was when they offered me the ER. No, thanks. Not going to the ER either. No, not in the mood that I was in yesterday. So then they're like, well, you have to do this perp. I said, listen, finally I threatened them. I said, maybe the media would like to hear about this long line. I said, once you straighten up the lab, you know, maybe you should focus on that instead of harassing me, or like get them a phone or something. Or, you know, when they originally started all this COVID stuff, I know it's been going on for 2 years, we have an intermediate care center. It's a very large building, and you could drive up there, pull into the parking lot, and call a phone number, and they would say, okay, we'll call you when we're ready for you. And when they would call you, and then you could go inside and get your test and then go home. Well, they closed that. You can't do that anymore. Now you have to go to this independent lab. And I said, you need to get stuff straightened out at this independent lab, because it's not safe. And maybe I should let the media know what you're doing to your employees. Or perhaps I should hire a lawyer. Not peep out of them. Yeah. So I'm going to work from home today if I still have a job. Yeah, whatever. I doubt they would fire me over that, because I would go get a lawyer. Absolutely would get a lawyer, because of what they tried to expose me to yesterday. No way. I should have took a picture. I should have said, hey, this is for my YouTube channel. Yeah. Anyway, enough about that. Oh my God. It is national. What national day? This washi tape has got to go. It is just awful. Oh my God. I'm just picking it off because it's so curled up. So then, yeah, more drama yesterday. Well, not drama. I didn't dramatize it, but I was so upset because I'm on this area of the painting. Hi, squirrel. Can you move over? Okay. I'm on this area of the painting here. Now, hopefully none of these drills are going to fall off. Well, they haven't. Let's see. Not yet. But this is all fine and dandy. But when I get to like this part here, no glue. No glue. I'm doing this, no glue. Now, you just like one row over, glue, no glue, But I find that if you can't multi-place it because the drills won't stick to the canvas and come off your multi-placer. You can't single place it, same reason. But if you take a tweezer and you put it down and you press and hold it, it will stay. So there is some amount of glue there, but not a lot. So these, I just pressed really hard on these to make sure that they would stay, and it looks like they are going to. But like I'm looking at it and I can actually see the spot where there's no glue. There's glue there, not there. It's just like this one little area. No glue. So I do have a community post up. Now this happened to me with the Dreamer Design canvas that I was just working on, the gingerbread house. These are great companies. This is Diamond Art Club, Dreamer Design, really good companies. I'm not blaming the company, but if something is going on that there's no glue here, literally I can see for about this much of the canvas, from here to over here, there's no glue. You can actually see the line where the glue starts again, here and here. But here, nothing, no glue. So all I ask in the community post is, are you having trouble with the glue? And it wouldn't be on an older canvas, so please don't vote if you're working on an older canvas. These are newer canvases coming out of China. I want to know, is there a glue issue in China with the manufacturers? Because we need to know about it. These companies need to know about it. Are they chintzing on the glue? Because I paid a lot of money for this canvas, and I don't want to have to seal it. I don't like sealing canvases. I think it distracts from the beautifulness of the canvas. I don't even know if that's a proper sentence, but you know what I mean. I had to seal a TSA last year, and I was so disappointed at having to do that because it makes the canvas stiff and it doesn't shine as, whatever. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox sometime this week. Yes, but maybe not today. I don't know. What's going on, guys? What's the matter? You're up to something. These animals are in cahoots. Okay. Today is National Spaghetti Day! On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I forgot my poor meatball. When somebody sneezed, it rolled off the table and onto the floor. I don't know the rest. What's the rest of that song? And then my spaghetti, it rolled out the door, then my poor meatball, it rolled out the door. Yep.
What?
Yes, that's the meatball song. Okay, so the like button is going to be standing in line for me today if I have to go get that daggum test. If Jean turns out positive, I may have to go get the test. Yeah, otherwise, I'm working from home today. I do not have a headache. I feel okay. I'm rested. I got some sleep last night. Took a boatload of acetaminophen yesterday, and lorazepam. Combine that not acetaminophen, Advil with some lorazepam. You are out like a light. Oh, you know what I started watching? The Witcher, because it has Henry Cavill in it. I love Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's my favorite. um, I don't know if you remember Henry from the Tudors. If you watch the Tudors, King, about King, that was a drama about King Henry VIII. He was like King Henry VIII's best friend, and Henry Cavill is adorable. He played Superman. Well, now he's The Witcher, and they're already in season 2. And I started to watch it when they came out with season 1, and I just couldn't get into it. But now I'm kind of getting into it. I have to kind of like close my eyes during the battle scenes because I hate those things. Honest to God, I hate those things, those battle scenes. Where they take the thing, the sword, and they gotta stick it in and pull it out, and the blood goes there. No thanks. No, thank you. Just tell me when it's over. Yeah. So what are we gonna do on Spaghetti Day? I want to make spaghetti my way. See, my sister makes spaghetti her way, and it's a big production because she went to culinary school, and you got to make your own sauce, and you got to put this and that and the other in it. I just open a jar of ragu or whatever, whatever spaghetti sauce I got in the cupboard. I cook up some meat, some ground meat, mix it with that sauce, pour it over the spaghetti. I'm good to go. And I think that's what I'm having for dinner. She can join me if she feels like it. She didn't eat dinner last night, poor thing. She not feeling well. And this morning I looked at her and she's like, I realize that. Yeah, I'm like, okay. I handed her a cup of coffee, sent her on her way. Yeah. Poor thing. Oh my God. But I have to give you a caveat there. With my sister, and she is listening, I got to be careful. She's not a morning person. So that's not an atypical response from her anyway. Doesn't mean she has COVID. It just means it's just her morning response. I'm like, me, as soon as the alarm goes off, I'm up out of bed, I'm dancing around, which drives everybody crazy. But that's how I am. Yeah, that's where I record the show in the morning and not at night. Because by the time nighttime comes, I'm like, woe is me. No. But, yeah. Oh, you know what came in the mail? My chair. My new chair. And today I'm expecting the desk. And my son is off tomorrow and Thursday, and he could come over and put it together. If my sister doesn't have COVID. If she has COVID, we're not bringing anybody over here. So... Yesterday was my grandson's birthday, and my son tells me, I bought him a gun. I'm like, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. I said, I will kick your ass if you bought that guy a gun. I bought him a gun. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. This went on for like 30 minutes. But this is my son. He's very sarcastic. Like, you never know whether he's telling the truth or he's trying to be sarcastic. And I'm like, I know you did not buy him a gun because I will come over there and kick your ass. He's like, yeah, it's a rifle. I'm like, I'm on the way. So the way we left it was he said he bought an air gun. I'm like, what does he need an air gun for? What does a 19-year-old need an air gun for? He goes, well, Kyle Rittenhouse had an air gun. I'm like, oh dear, you're not going there. I said, what did you really get him for his birthday? Well, we got him a pillow to sit behind his back in his gaming chair and blah, 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 and a gun. I'm like, stop with the gun. So I don't know if he really bought this gun or not, but I swear to you, and my son is an instructor in martial arts, I will kick his ass if he bought my grandson a rifle. I will take that rifle, I will find the receipt, and I will go back to the damn store. Yes. And I'm not kidding. Because my grandchildren are not carrying weapons unless they're in the military, which he was, but he's not now. So, and that's all I have to say about that. So, I said, unless you guys are planning on putting on camouflage and some heavy camouflage because it's freezing outside and you're going to get in that truck of yours and go somewhere and hunt deer, I don't want to hear about no rifles, okay? None. You don't need them. What's he going to do with an air gun? So apparently my grandson really wants a cat. Both of my grandsons now are saying they came to visit here and they met Stitch and Pearl, and they're like, we want a cat. Now, they live down in the basement level of my son's home. And they're like, well, just keep the cat down here. They don't understand that cats go wherever they want. But they want a cat. I'm very tempted to get them a cat. I told Kyle, you can have Pearl. But Pearl would be very upset. Stitch, I could never get rid of Stitch. But Pearl, she's so mellow. You know, she'd probably just fall in love with anybody. I don't know. I've been way off topic today, and I have so much to cover. Crafting and crime daily. Yes. Okay, first of all, let's talk about Elizabeth Holmes. The jury deliberated in her case for 7 days. It started before Christmas. It was a 3-month trial. Now, I will bring you up to speed. If you don't remember, Elizabeth Holmes was being tried for her company, Theranos. This was in federal court, so it was not televised, so I couldn't bring you the verdict live. She was being tried in federal court for conspiracy to commit fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud against her investors and against patients. She started this company called Theranos. She started when she was 19 years old. It quickly became a multi-billion-dollar company because she would get money from investors. She marketed this little machine called the Edison, and she said that you could, with 1 drop of blood, you could run all of these tests, and you could monitor your health for, over time, all by yourself, and it would prevent cancer, and blah, 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 blah. So the jury deliberated for 7 days, 50 some hours, and they came back yesterday afternoon, and they said they were deadlocked on 4 of the 11 counts. So the judge says, well, go back and, they give him what's called the Allen charge, which is, hey, go give it the old college try speech from the judge. So he sends them back, and they come back 2-3 hours later, and they said that they were still unable to reach verdicts on 3 or 4 of the counts. See what I'm doing here? It will not stick. Won't stick. Oh, so insanely frustrating. Not even with the tweezers. Like, maybe if I press it down, it'll stay there. Yeah. What's going on, Stitch? Hello? Meow. What's going on, buddy? Are you chewing the ribbon? So they did find her guilty of most of the counts that involved investors, like conspiracy to commit fraud against the investors. But they found her not guilty on all the counts that had to do with patients. And I suspect this because it wasn't proved beyond a reasonable doubt, at least doubt in these juries' minds. But she was convicted on 4 counts of the 11, which is enough to put her in jail for up to 80 years. However, the average sentence for this type of crime is 21 months. But the aggravating factor that the judge can consider and allow him to depart from that 21-month average and go up to more jail time is the amount of money that she cheated investors. And of the counts that she was convicted on, it involved about $140 billion. $140 billion. Or was it million? Million, billion, I don't remember. Lots of money. So she was released pending her sentence. They'll do a pre-sentence investigation, which I found interesting. Why is she released? She was convicted. They didn't release the police officer when they convicted her. They said, the argument in her case was she's not a danger to society. It's not like she's going to go out and accidentally shoot somebody else. But they said, no, she's been convicted. But this is a different state. So, and it's federal court. So they let her go home. And her sentencing won't be for a few months. So she can go home live with her partner and her baby and the rest of her family and carry on for the next few months. So that's that case. It's over. Now, the case that I said was going to start yesterday didn't start. The judge has COVID. Big surprise, right? The judge has COVID. So the case has been reset to January 18th. So that case did not start. But the case that did start, so interesting. They're picking the jury and they expect opening statements to be today. Is a case, and I don't recall the name of the case, but this is a case where this young man called the police to report his parents missing and then went to the media to say that they were missing. So he lied to the police, he lied to the media, saying, oh, my parents are missing. But then they find part of his father in his girlfriend's property, on his girlfriend's property, and the legs of his mother in the next county. He dismembered them. He killed them and dismembered them. Allegedly. He's innocent until proven guilty. But my understanding is that there's a lot of evidence against this guy. A lot of evidence. So I'm not even sure why he's taking the stand or why he's opted for a trial. I don't know. And what in the world reason could he have had for killing his parents? There's always a reason. So those are the trials that are pending. How am I getting drills all over this canvas? I have a feeling it has something to do with a cat, you think? So let's talk about the Chippendales Part 2. Yeah. Where's my party music? Where's my party music? Here we go. Take it off. Woo! Okay, the Chippendales Part 2. Part 2. So if you see me looking at my phone, it's because now I'm taking notes on my phone. There's a little note app, and I'm taking notes on my phone. So where I left off is we're in LA. Chippendales are the hit. They are making it big. Now, this gentleman named Nick DeNoia, he steps into the company, stitches up to something. He steps into the company and he says, I'm going to get you a place in New York. Now, here's where we have the napkin deal. He sits down with the owner of the company, Steve Banerjee, and they're out in a little cafe, and he says, listen, if I get you a club in New York, a successful club in New York, will you give me the rights in perpetuity to take these guys on tour? And Banerjee says, sure. They sign it on a napkin. Unfortunately, Steve Banerjee, the rich Steve Banerjee that's behind the Chippendales, he doesn't know what in perpetuity means. It means forever. Forever. In perpetuity means you can't break this contract. So Nick takes his napkin. He goes back to the LA Chippendales. Now he's choreographing them. He's adding lights. He's planning this show. He's like a dictator, yelling at the guys, your leg wasn't high enough, and, just going to town with these guys. So they find a club in New York, and they open it in 1963, but in 1961, before the club opens in 1963, Nick has this idea. We're going to do a calendar. Yeah. So they come out with Chippendale calendars. So now, and they thought they would sell hundreds of these calendars. Well, they sold thousands of these calendars. So now you can get Chippendale anything. The marketing was just incredible. The only thing that couldn't be marketed was Steve Banerjee. The man stuttered, he was shy, he couldn't talk, he could not market himself. So Nick Denoya, he's going on all these talk shows after they opened in 1963 in New York. He's going on all these talk shows. He's going on Phil and Phil Donahue and all these shows that were popular back then. Do you remember Phil Donahue? I remember Phil Donahue. I always watched Phil. And Nick is making himself out to be the face of the Chippendales, like he's behind the whole thing. So this starts this little quarrel between him and Steve Banerjee. Steve was very jealous because this was his baby, not Nick Denoya. So he decides, I'm going to get rid of Nick. So in 1964, he outs Nick and he says, listen, you're out of New York. I'm going to put someone else there. So he hires someone else. Steve Merritt gets hired. And Steve Merritt just ups the ante. He makes it so now the show has no audience interaction. But it doesn't matter. They're making millions of dollars. So they've got this huge club in LA. They've got this huge club in New York. And now in LA, all these other clubs are starting to open up and they're having like male dancers a few nights a week. Then what happens is some of these, the conservatives are coming out. Oh, Jesus is frowning upon this. Yeah, whatever they're. And they're starting to firebomb some of these nightclubs. Oh my God. But Steve Banerjee, he doesn't care. He's making millions of dollars. But he can only get, 500 a head overhaul on these two clubs, 500 in LA and 2,000 in New York. And that's about as much as he can get per night, per ticket. Well, when he ousts Nick Denoya, Nick Denoya, remember the napkin deal? Nick says, I'm taking him on tour. So, and Steve can't stop him because he's got the napkin deal. He tries, but he says, no, you can't stop me. We made this deal. I can have them on tour in perpetuity. So what the deal was is that Steve would get half of the revenue, half of the door, the sales, the ticket sales, minus expenses. They would add up the ticket sales, subtract expenses, and Steve would get half, which was still a ton of money because they would go from town to town and they would be sold out in every town. And they were appearing in front of thousands of people, thousands, not 500 or 2,000, thousands of people in every town that they would go to. So Steve started thinking, hey, this guy's cut, he's not giving me the right cut. He's shorting me money. So now Steve's like all paranoid that Nick Denoya is shorting him money. So in late 1964, there's a 911 call to the police in New York. Hey, there's been a shooting here in my office. There's a guy, he's been shot in the head. So they say, well, give me the address. They give him the address and they say, well, what business is this? And he said, it's the Chippendales. And she's like, oh my, the dispatcher, the Chippendales. Okay, well, I have somebody right there. And then you see this footage of, I just stabbed myself with the, somewhere, tweezers. So, they remove, clearly there's someone dead in that office, and they remove the body from the scene. And that's where part 2 ends. Whose body is it? Is it Banerjee? Is it Denoya? Is it someone else? I don't know. Stay tuned tomorrow for part 3 of the Chippendales. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's a tip. Here's a tip. Oh yeah. still incredibly popular. These dancers, I'm telling you, they were so well groomed that wherever they, whatever the popular style was of the day, if it was clean cut, they all went clean cut. If it was the mustache, they all had mustaches. If it was the Don Johnson 5 o'clock shadow look, they all had the Don Johnson 5 o'clock shadow look. Oh, they were hot. These guys were hot. So anyway, let's do this day in history. Let's talk about the Boston Strangler. This was also right around the same time frame as the Chippendales. So this guy, the Boston Strangler, he grew up in this horrible home in Boston. His father would bring home prostitutes, have sex in front of him and his mother and the other kids, and then beat his parents, beat his mom. It doesn't justify anything that he did, but yeah. So initially, he had this scheme where he would go out with his tape measure and he would pretend to be a modeling agent, and he would talk these women into like, hey, I want to hire you to be a model, but I've got to take your measurements. So they would let him in, and he'd come in with a tape measure, and he's tape measuring, and he's fondling these women. So till finally someone gets wise, and he gets thrown in jail for this, and he serves a year in prison. So when he gets out, now he's got a new scheme. Now he's going to knock on the door. Instead of knocking on the door for the next 2 years, he's going to break into apartments, tie women up, and sexually assault them. Yep. So that's what he does for the next 2 years. Doesn't get caught. But then, and when he would wear this green outfit, like a green handyman kind of outfit. So these got titled the Greenman Rapes. So, but then he decided he was going to up his game and strangle the women. So he continued to break into the apartments, and first he started with older women. Now he was moving on to younger women. So he breaks into their apartments, ties them up, rapes them, and then strangles them, and then ties whatever, their robe or whatever in a bow. That was his signature. He would tie things in a bow around their neck usually. So he gets away with that for like 2 years. So finally one day he leaves one of the women alive. I'm not sure why, but she was able to describe him with enough specificity that they made an arrest. They put him in jail. He confesses to his cellmate that he's done it. And of course, so he ends up making a deal with the prosecution that he would be tried on all the Greenman rapes. He was never charged with any of the Boston Strangle cases. None of those rapes and murders. He would only be tried on the Greenman rapes, which gave him life in prison. So the prosecutor felt that he didn't need to charge him with all the Boston strangulations. However, he didn't serve very much time in prison because in 1973, he was killed in prison by an inmate. Unfortunately, he was stabbed to death. Yeah. So, what do you say about that? I don't know. Yeah, terrible ending, I know. Okay, guys, that's this day in history. I hope you guys have a great day. It's Tuesday. I have vowed to have a better attitude today. Yes, my attitude yesterday needed an adjustment. It was terrible, terrible. And I apologize to anybody that I offended, my sister, the little lady in the pink scrubs, whoever, whatever. But I'm sorry. Some days are like that. Yep. Anyway, some days you feel like a nut. Some days you don't. Anyway. Bye, everybody. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow for part 3 of the Chippendales. Who's the dead guy? Let's find out tomorrow. Bye.